Perfect. Great. Okay, so we have basically figured out how to set up this studio finally. I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Check it out. Whoa. Pretty ghost-like. That's kind of freaking me out. And kind of show you why I think it's kind of cool and it's a little different. You know, the 1080p 60 stuff, which was one of the goals I had, we're pretty much there. This is in 1080p 60. Welcome to 1080p 60. I don't know if we'll do it for everything or what we're going to do with it, but it was definitely one of my goals for building this studio and getting it up and running. The other goal for building this studio was I'm in the studio recording area right now. I've got this laptop and this boom pole. The boom pole is not that important, but the laptop is pretty cool. And you know, it doesn't have to be a laptop. We'll probably set up a TV monitor or something with a mouse and keyboard. But the main thing is I want to be able to control everything that's happening out there in that studio from inside this recording room. There's only the two of us right now. Hopefully someday there'll be more. But in order to switch live shows and monitor audio for quick looks and stuff like that, without having to run back and forth and go to the control room, I need to be able to do it from here. So let me show you the main things we're dealing with. Okay, so I was just sitting over there. I've gotten up. I should really have a wireless mic on, but I don't have any wireless mics right now. So we've got this TV in here that's showing me my program feed. But the main pieces of hardware we'll be dealing with are this mixer here, and this is a Behringer X32. It's a compact edition. If I had it to do all over again, I may go with just a rack mount version of it, but you know, it is pretty big. Hopefully someday we'll have somebody dedicated to run the faders on it. Right now, that's not really a thing. So the rack mount thing, I'll show you in a minute when we get back to the computer why that's important to be able to control it from in there. I'm probably not going to be using the faders that much, and it takes up a decent amount of room. The one we have in San Francisco is actually bigger, but I'm going to lower myself down a little bit. I can see my meters punched into the red line. It's a very cool mixer. I'm actually pretty psyched about it. We have, again, one in San Francisco, and GameSpot had one, and I was really impressed with it. So we're going to look at this. Then we're going to look at basically this ATEM 2ME production studio. It's a 4K. You know, we're not doing 4K, but you know, the 2ME lets us do some cool things with layering of graphics and stuff like that, you know, picture-in-picture, that kind of nonsense. This is kind of what the feeds look like that are coming in now. I got the PC I'm going to show you guys in a second. This is the camera I was just on. Here's a PlayStation 4. Here's that camera again. This is like some duped thing I'll show you guys in just a second. So that's the Blackmagic ATEM. The other thing I'll show you, this is not a piece of gear I bought, it just happened to be here. We have one of these similar in San Francisco. It's called a micro hub or video hub. It's a matrix switcher, and the difference between a matrix switcher and say like a splitter or something like that is a matrix switcher. Here's an HDMI one we have hooked up. It basically lets you choose any input to go to any output. It's almost like a big patch bay, which is like this audio patch bay that was just here. This is not mine. But you know, you can choose any input to any output. So I basically wire everything up into there so that I can control what's going in and what's going out to the different feeds around the studio. So let's go take a look and see what's happening. you know, the short of this stuff is, before we jump back in there, just so you know, there's that TV in there, which is showing me program feed right now. There's a TV here, which is showing the PlayStation 4. All these consoles here, they just get wired right into this matrix switcher right here. So, you know, all these HDMIs, this is the PC, this is the 360, this is the PS4. You know, 4 for PS4, 3 for the third Xbox, and 2, this is the PC. So what happens is, you know, these things all go in here, and then you could route it to any output you want. So right now I have the PS4, which is, you know, input 4 coming out of output 4, and that's routing over into our system here. And then, you know, over here, this goes right to the TV, that's routing into there. So let's go jump back in over to the PC, my laptop that I have, and I'll show you why this is set up this way and what we can do from the room in there. So I'm gonna walk him back in, say hi, hello TV, hello program feed, hi, it's about to get weird. Okay, so I'm gonna sit down here. You know, a lot of this will be similar to what we were doing. Whoa, hey buddy. A lot of this is similar to what we were doing in San Francisco. Just now with the control, you know, able to be done from a laptop. And you can see this laptop, it's hooked up through HDMI right now and Ethernet, but you know, it will just need the HDMI out at some point, you know, just using it for this capture. But if you watch that TV there, I can switch it, and this is just routing, this isn't that fancy, but I can switch it over to, let's see, what should we change it to? Let's change it to the gameplay, all right? So, I can change it from program to the gameplay, and back. So, while I'm doing that is, let's dive right in here. I'm gonna switch over what we're looking at now. I'm gonna put this camera down. You guys can look at me. I'm gonna show you my laptop here. So let's switch over to this. So what we're looking at here is the actual control surface for that switcher we saw before. So when I click these buttons here, we switch our cameras. You obviously cannot see me when I click it, but watch. Here, I'll click it, boom! Boom. Let me see if I can get a picture-in-picture, and I'm just kind of figuring out this mixer. And it's new, it's not a TriCaster. It's a little new. So there's a thing called the Super Source, and we can go in here and we can say, hey, box 1, let's do that. Let's make that, you know, camera 2, which is basically set up as my PC right now. And then box 2, let's say, is camera 3, which should be me. Okay, and let's take the Super Source and see what happens. And again, I haven't spent much time with this, but you know, we'll figure it out. Okay, so now you can see me and what I'm doing here, but again, as soon as I switch the program feed, we will lose that. You know, I haven't gotten into the rest of the mix effects and mix, you know, ME1 and ME2, so you'll just have to pardon me while we mess around here. So this is really cool. Again, I'm just sitting here with my laptop. I can actually get up, move around, and you know, switch all around. And this can be, you know, sitting next to me while I'm, you know, we're doing a live show. This is, you know, this is the hope. So very cool. I mean, again, I have to get used to it. See what all the fun little transitions are. We can kind of jump in here and see. Let's just set this to the Super Source as well. Well, let's set it to me. So we'll cut to Okay. That's kind of boring. Let's see. Okay, this looks more interesting. Okay. There's this. Okay. Let's see what... No, there's nothing in there. Let's see what the DVE... Sure. Okay. You know. What is that? Sure. That just looked the same. Did I not click it? Oh, that looks better. Yeah, that's just a bowl of laughs. Swoosh. Hello, swoosh. Whoa. Transitions for everybody! Everybody gets a transition. There you go. There you go. Here you go. I don't know. Just a fake T-bar. There you go. Everybody, hey! Hey, you want one? Sure. Hey, why not? I don't actually know. Let's see. You know, this is where we just start breaking stuff. But what if we take this, and we take this, and we take, oh boy, we take this. This is why they don't let me near stuff. And then I don't know, we take this again, and if we transition this, can we not? Oh boy. Okay. Like I said, I'm still okay. And then we come back here, and we move this a little more. Yeah. So there's a okay. You probably couldn't see anything that was happening. Anyway, yeah, seems like there's a bunch of stuff we could do with this. Very cool. Again, being able to just have this over here on the set, not having to be in the control room to do that. Very cool. Okay, so the other thing that is super duper cool, and this is probably my favorite so far, and I'll see. Oh man, I gotta kind of see how, if we could do this. Let's I'm gonna grab this camera because I kind of want to show you this because I think it is very cool. So let's transition over here if we can. Okay, so this is gonna be a little rough to show, but kind of stretching the limits of what I should be doing here. Watch those faders. Watch what happens here. So I can basically take, you know, I'm going to be putting some audio in here, but oh, look at that! Oh, ghost faders. Okay, that was probably a little too loud. Let me work on a channel that doesn't have any audio going through it. No, you're not going to see that one. How about channel 2? Jeez, I hope this doesn't blow anything out. Whoa! That's actually 3, but you get the idea. So I'm doing this from my laptop. I'm very excited about this. Let's go show you exactly what the hell I'm doing. So I'm gonna sit back down again. That was a lot of wires. I'm gonna put these headphones on so I can hear that I don't mess too much up here. Okay, yeah, this is actually kind of loud. I'm gonna take myself down a little bit. So let's switch it back over to so you can see my screen. And that was here. No, that's PS4. Here. Okay, so this was the switcher. This is the video switcher. And again, got to get in here and got to play with it a little bit more of it. But this is what I wanted to show you. Okay, so this is the remote control panel for that audio mixer, that X32. So what I can do from here, and you know, I'm going to lower myself down, and that's what those faders were moving on that thing, which, you know, seeing it move is cool and everything, but being able to actually control the audio is great. So here I think is the, this is the audio for the PlayStation. Here, is it these two guys? Yeah. Oh, gameplay's not high enough? Oh, well, I'm sitting right here. I'm gonna make it louder. So I've also set this up, you know, I'm kind of messing around with it, but I've set it up so that when I stop talking, the gameplay, you know, ducks or comes back up, and when I start talking, ducks back down. You know, it's something we talked about in San Francisco doing for a while. This mixer just kind of has it built in, the ability to do it, so that's why I'm doing it. You know, I don't know if we'll do it in the future. Sometimes I find the automatic ducking of stuff a little annoying. If you know, picks up the mic, you know, we just gotta play with the settings. So anyway, let me turn this back down, and I'll show you. You know, I can maybe put this back on that Supersaurus if I didn't break that thing too much. Hey, hi. So let me get back on here. I haven't, you know, added. There's a whole bunch of compressors and gates. You know, I can get in here. I'm not really going to go over that right now, but again, this stuff is really cool. And I haven't really monkeyed around with it too much. I think right now, you know, probably want to switch this to a compressor at some point. And actually doesn't show you on the screen. It shows you where you're at. This is not showing me that, but sorry, this is not even a compressor. Oh, where are you, compressor? I ducked myself to myself. Anyway, I'm gonna just even turn that off. Oh, sorry, I'm in the gate. No wonder it's not showing the compressor. Very excited. Sorry, just I've spent like the last 2 days trying to set all this stuff up, and I think it's almost there, which is amazing. And it's been a lot of sweaty work, and the studio is still kind of a big mess. But getting the stuff there is kind of awesome. So the other cool thing, I mean, whatever, this is all toys at this point. That's the main thing, being able to control which mics are on, which mics are off, how much monitor we're getting, and we can kind of do all of that from here. The toys that are involved in this thing, which are a bunch of fun, are, let's see, yeah, so things like, I've got this set up on one of the effects, and I can come in here, and I can turn that on, and then I don't even know what effect that is. Let's take a look at. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Yeah. All right. Let's try this. Oh shit. Let's. Okay, so I think what's going on is I'm inserting myself. So let's go into the effects and just turn this down a little bit. And now I can just sit here and rap with you guys for a little while. I mean, let's face it, we're here to have a good time, right? Oh man, life is weird and getting weird all the time, brother. So let me turn this up a little bit so you can actually understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So, you know, being able to do this stuff from just this look, I'm dancing around. I ain't even sitting down anymore. I can move around. I'm off camera. Now I'm on camera. Now I'm, well, basically off camera. But, you know, it's fantastic. You know, I can essentially have this next to me and switch and monitor audio from the live shows. Whew, yeah, just, you know, fall on my ass. Or
I could fall on my ass. There's a bunch of other effects in here.
Like that one, oh boy. Now you'll never know if I found my actual pitch again. Is this my pitch? I don't think so. Maybe this is my pitch, but I don't think so either. Maybe we should just turn it off. Let's go back. Oh boy. Probably turn the delay down and
then, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's just turn this all the way off. All the way off. Okay, there we go.
Now I'm back, and then this was another effect that I absolutely think is insane. So if we take this and then take myself, How about that? That's much better. So yeah, a lot of really dumb effects. This is your flange red bullet. When you take the flange and you start messing with it, it gets really is you could take this and well, now I kind of sound like that's like weird Dr. Sweetsilly. We could take this which will probably there's gotta be a better way. Here we go. Okay, so let's go into that combiner. Okay, so here's me. Let's go see what happens if we insert this back again.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Now we're in business. What a goddamn mess. Fantastic. And you can put these, I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so you can put these in a sequence so they stack and do all sorts of fun stuff. Stuff that you probably want to hear. Stuff that
you probably want to hear once and then never again. The rest of our setup is kind of similar. The problem with the 1080p 60 stuff, aside from kind of being tough to
get recorded, is that there's like 3 different 1080p 60 standards, different like SMPTE formats, Society of Motion Picture people who decide what's what. They kind of say, oh boy, that's probably not the best thing to have this on, but whatever. They kind of say what's what, and there's like 3 different types, and some of my gear is just not communicating with each other. Some of the Blackmagic stuff, I mean, I can go deeper into it at some point if people really want to hear about SDI and SMPTE formats and 1080p 60. But you know, I think that's a deeper video. I find that stuff fascinating, and you know, you should too. But needless to say, we've got our video coming in, which is, again, being able to control. I'll show you actually the routing software, and I will actually turn this insert off. There we go. This is the routing software that comes with that Blackmagic Video Hub. This is what kind of lets me change what goes to the studio, what goes to those other monitors. And, you know, if I change, let's see, if I change camera, what are we on? Camera 2 right now? And we change that to gameplay, then you see in the feed, that's now the gameplay. That micro video hub, that was here with TV Guide, so that wasn't in my budget. It's a cool thing to have. Again, we have one in San Francisco where we have like 72 different things plugged in all the time. I didn't really need it here, but it's cool. They let me borrow it. They weren't using any of the studio stuff. Same with those monitors that they have over there. These like top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left monitors that are Blackmagic. They said, you know, I could use that stuff. So that's kind of the studio setup, or why at least the studio is set up the way it is. You know, getting everything wired is very cool. The other very, very cool thing with the mixer, you kind of can't see it here. I'll switch over to this little itty bitty camera, and I'll see if I can kind of explain this while I do it. So I'm going to put this down. And I'll insert this footage after the fact, but this is your traditional audio snake. So the snake basically is it's a bunch of outputs, some inputs, I'm sorry, a bunch of inputs, some outputs from your XLR mixer. But what happens is you wind up on the other end of this thing. This giant cable is a bunch of basically XLR wires
that run all the way to the other end, and you get this big, massive Medusa head of XLR cables, this gigantic, massive thing. I don't really have an example to show you right here. But this is the snake that comes, or doesn't come, that you buy for the digital mixer. And the cool thing about this snake, A, it's digital. B, I just like saying snake over and over again. But the output of this is actually just an Ethernet cord. So you just get like a Cat 6 cord, and you run that into the back of the mixer, and then that mixer can control, again, kind of like a matrix style, whatever outputs and inputs you want from that mixer. There's my microphone plugged in right there, and that's the gameplay that goes into the headphone amp over there. So that is actually super duper cool. Instead of having, you might not appreciate how massive those braids are. I'll try and get a shot and insert it, but they are big. So let me go sit down again. That's kind of where we're at. I'm pretty excited to get this place up and running. I built a bunch of studios, and having them be versatile is super important. Let's switch back over here. Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to, let's swoosh back over here. All right. There we go. So yeah, having them be versatile is really important, because I found that if you have to unplug stuff and plug stuff in, you spend more time setting up and setting down than making content, breaking down and doing all this stuff. It gets to be a real bear, especially when you're light on crew, you don't have a studio manager or anything like that. This place is a freaking mess. I gotta fix that. But we will, and we'll clean it up. And you kind of saw the earlier stuff we were doing.
We're trying to set up some consoles in here so we can start testing some shit out.
This is quite an awesome setup you've got going on.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did it all myself. I didn't at all just bring in these consoles after you did all this stuff.
And it was just basically a microphone plugged into a laptop with a webcam and stuff. And that is super appropriate for a lot of reasons. For it's easy to do when you have one person. When you start adding in multiple people, you start having to use you can use mixers that have USB out to kind of get your audio in. It's a little hard to monitor the audio, but the big thing is for me is if we're gonna be allowed to have a studio space, being able to set something up where I'm not pulling wire or changing inputs and outputs is really important, and also being able to kind of sit here, do what I need to do for the recording, but also be able to have somebody sit in the control room is also really important to me. And that versatility is a big deal when setting up a studio. I've definitely set up ones where, you set it all up and then suddenly somebody's got to hook up a 360 right in front of you because it's got to connect, and then everything breaks and there's a whole bunch of wires. So I'm trying to work around that, and the San Francisco studio is a bigger version of that, and that studio is awesome. I love that studio. I think Drew and I set that thing up using a wish list, and that's like 3 sets that can run simultaneously. And this one is a lot smaller, but this is the big thing I wanted to get going, was being able to do all this nonsense from sitting here, to be able to record a quick look and put the gameplay up, put the gameplay down, monitor mic levels, or do a live show and do that same thing. So, until we can get more people to help out from the control room dedicated, this was a big deal, and this was I'm pretty happy about it. The 1080p 60 stuff is awesome. I don't know how much we'll use it. I still have to figure out what the bit rates are going to be. I'm very partial to higher bit rate over a higher resolution. Definitely keeping the 60 part of that frame rate. So, we do 720p 60 now, but in the future, we'll move up to 1080p eventually. It's just we got to do bandwidth considerations and stuff like that. But in buying this stuff and setting it up, I wanted to make sure that we were available to do it. This video itself should be 1080p 60. Hey, check this out. Hey, look, ready? There's 1080p 60 PlayStation footage. And you know what? Let's I'll put up some PlayStation audio. And let me I'm going to grab my headphones here, make sure you're hearing that. This is amazing. This is the future. I'm living in the future right now.
Welcome to the future, everybody. I'm Vinny Caravella, and have a good day.
Xbox One settings.
No, I don't have the I don't have that Kinect plugged in.
Xbox One.
I didn't plug in the Kinect.
Go to.
It doesn't know anything you're saying right now because I don't have the Kinect plugged in. So I can't. None of that is a thing.
Vamanosa settings.